I got a letter in the mail today from Sissy in New York City. And Sissy asked me a question. And she said, how come does people in the South talk so slow? Well, I'm going to answer this in two parts, Sissy. People in the South, they does talk a little slower than other people. I have noticed that. I don't know if it's because of the heat or what it is. But, as far as fast talk or slow talk, I'm going to break this into two parts in this lecture. And the first part, I'm going to deal with me, a savant. Now, a savant, you might think I talk slow, but I want you to know I'm having to slow everything down for you. I'm having to talk much slower than I'm thinking. And as a matter of fact, at any given time, I might have 14 to 15,000 trains of thought going through my mind as a savant. It's just unbelievable. I mean, if you could go in there and look around, it just blow your mind. But, I'll give you, for instance, watch this. Now watch my lips. Ooh. Did you get that? You may not believe it, but I just quoted to you the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. You don't believe me? Just slow the tape down. You have to slow it way down, and you'll be able to hear the whole thing in its entirety. So that's me. I have to slow things down for you more common folk out there because you're not savants, and I am. I'm a savant. What can I say? But then I do admit there are other folks down here that talk slow. And you might think because they talk slow, they're stupid. But they're not stupid. And I'm going to give you a for instance. I got a buddy, and his name is Andy. And Andy is a smart guy. He's smart. And he knows a lot about different things. I mean, he's not to my level. It's okay. But he's really good. He knows a lot about fishing. And he knows a lot about the printing industry. In fact, he sells printing equipment. That's what he does. And people talking to Andy, you just can't believe how slow he is. He just talks like this. And it's almost like you're dragging it out of him. Andy, just finish a sentence. It's okay. But you might get the impression because he talks slow, he's dumb. But he ain't dumb, let me assure you. And I'm going to give you a for instance. One time I was up in Chicago at a trade fair. And it was a printing trade fair. And Andy had this man in there buying a machine. And the man was from New York City. And Andy's talking so slow. And this man's looking at him like, you're an idiot. And I'm listening. And I'm listening to the negotiations. And I mean, Andy's words are so slow. It's, if his words were a footpath, you just imagine this. Your words are a footpath. You'd have to jump from one word to the other and hope you didn't fall off into the abyss. That's how far apart the words are. So you got to string it all together. But Andy's talking to this guy, and the guy's negotiating, and like any New Yorker, he's trying to get the best price for the machine. And Andy's talking a little about this, and the guy's getting impatient. And Andy's talking, and the guy's getting impatient. And he just continues to talk. And I'll be danged if at the end of the negotiation, he's telling the guy, you got to pay this amount down. And you got to pay this amount when it ships from Japan over here, and you got to pay a dock fee. And you got to pay for delivery and installation. And I'll be danged if the guy didn't pay 10% more for the machine than its retail value. And they got up, and the guy thought he had slickered Andy. And the guy was so almost embarrassed that he thought he'd taken advantage of this other boy, Andy. He invited him to dinner, and they went to Gibson's Steakhouse up there in Chicago. It's a really famous place, great steaks. And the guy bought Andy's dinner. And Andy sat down there and ate a porterhouse steak because Andy's a big guy. I mean, he just put that porterhouse away like nobody's business. And the guy, he had some iced tea and a porterhouse steak, and he even got the ice cream dessert, which would feed 8 people if you ever ate at Gibson's Steakhouse. It's just unbelievable. You could feed an army just on the dessert. And they sat down and they shook hands, and at the end of it all, Andy sold the machine for more than the retail value. So all I'm saying is, people in the South may talk slow. We may sound stupid, but you really better watch out if you're from up north, because we ain't as dumb as we say. They say dumb as a fox. That's Andy, and he did a deal. So just be careful.